Hello and welcome back to another edition of Trogly's Guitars. Today we got a really cool signature Les Paul here. It's not necessarily what you would think of when you think of a signature Les Paul. This is basically a super amped up studio. Now there's some pros and cons to that. Cons, obviously it doesn't have binding, but depending on how you look at it, that can also be a pro. Personally, I hate the feel of binding on the neck. There's something really special about a Gibson that doesn't have binding on the neck. So I've always loved studios because there's such a raw feeling when it doesn't have binding. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. Yours may vary. This is the original case for this guitar. It is an all black case, including the hardware. The locking latch here does not appear to work properly anyways, but all the other latches are fine. So that looks like you have 4 other latches. Yep. And inside, if you haven't guessed what guitar this is yet, it is a black shroud with a nice black case. And there it is, giving it away. This is a late 90s Joe Perry model. It has the Joe Perry signature with the Aerosmith writing. Gorgeous headstock there. And a very nice flamed Joe Perry Les Paul model. These things are getting really hard to come by. Most of these went over to Japan. There's also a custom shop edition of this same guitar that had the pearl Gibson logo, as well as a few other things. But for the most part, the guitars are the same. This case could probably use swept out. I'll gladly do that for you if you would prefer. You do have the original pre-pack checklist for this guitar. As you can see there, Les Paul Joe Perry Blackburst. That is inside the case. Huh. Well, that was the part I was looking for. Unfortunately, when this guitar got shipped to me, first the seller lied about the guitar, and it was the toggle switch broke during shipment, as well as the capacitors inside. One of the legs broke off. Now, I've checked the guitar over. There's no breaks, cracks, or repairs from that. It just must have got jostled around a little bit, and that's fairly common. But this guitar is gorgeous. Let's take a closer look here. This is a player's grade one, and we'll get more into that here in a little bit. There is some light wear all over the guitar here. Trying to show you here, like there's a scratch there on the headstock, and just a few smudges here and there. Now these pearloid things are stock to the guitar. At first when I saw these, I didn't know much about this model, and I kind of thought they looked a little bit wonky, but in person they have more of a greener tint to them, so it really makes it work in my opinion. These are Rosewood Fretboards. This one's very nice and dark. I just cleaned and oiled it as well as polished up your frets, and it looks 100 million times better now. The frets were just about as green as the guitar when I got it. As far as fret wear goes, when I took the strings off, very light fret wear, but there is some that it should be noted. But nothing you're going to have to worry about for a while. And I just put a fresh set of 10s on this guitar and lowered the action a little bit so it was actually playable. Alright, you do have some hazing in the finish. If you wanted to super polish this guitar up, I'm sure you could. You could probably get rid of some of that. However, I just chose to lightly oil the top to get it most of the grime off. So you got a ding there. Looks like a little bit of a ding right there when you hit the light right. As well as some right there. And there's the signature on the guitar, Joe Perry. You gotta be careful buying these. There are actually Chinese replicas of these out there, believe it or not. A ding right there. As well as some stings there. If you could deal with a little bit of player's wear, this one's actually in fairly good shape. Okay, now as we were talking about before, the toggle switch tip broke. However, I couldn't find that part until I just opened that case. So I will go ahead and super glue that for you, so it should actually be good as new by the time you get it. But it will be super glued together. Now, this guitar would have originally came with an active circuit in it, whereas this tone pot would actually pull out and has like a built-in wah effect. That's all fine and dandy, but a lot of people really did not like the way this guitar sounded with that. So I'm assuming that's why whoever took that out of this guitar did it. And when they did it, they went ahead and just redid all the electronics 50s styled. These three are more modern Gibson branded pots. And this one's actually a 1983 Gibson potentiometer there. And as I said, one of the original ceramic caps actually kind of snapped off. So I just went ahead and replaced the one with an orange drop spray capacitor to get it all up and running. So this guitar is perfectly fine. You have a 57 Classic in the neck, most likely the original, and what looks like a 498T. It's the one that says Gibson USA on the back. I think it would have originally came with two 57 Classics. The guitar sounds great as is though. Now the back of the guitar. Serial number 92107452. That makes it made in 1997, 210th day of the year. And that'd make it the 452nd in production. Made in USA. You still have the stock tuners. No breaks, cracks, or repairs here. Black guitars, as you guys probably know, are really impossible to keep clean. So even though I clean this guitar, just handling it from here on there, it gets it oily again and whatnot. As far as I see, there's nothing too much wear-wise on the neck. One thing I'd like for you to be aware of is that's the 3rd, 5th, 7th fret there. It looks like a little bit of wood might have got shaved off at one point in time, or it might just be the finish that wore off, because you can feel a noticeable difference. However, it's nothing that's really going to bother you, to be honest. It's a very, very slight difference. It just looks like the finish got worn off there. Now the back of the guitar, this one was played. It does have buckle rash there, as you can see, as well as some other indentations. I would go closer in, but whenever I do, it gets hard to see because my camera likes to auto-adjust. But as you can see, lots of buckle wear on the back, and that's why this one's going to be kept affordable for you guys. Most of these went over to Japan. That's where most of the sellers are. So snap this one up while you can. Take a look at the sides real quick. I mean, you got some light dings and scratches. Nothing too much to worry about. This does have a 50s neck profile. There's a ding on the side there. So yes, 50s neck profile. This guitar, it's really powerful to play. Like, it's really hard to describe it unless you've had it in your hands, but it is really quite something else. So if you're looking for something a little bit out of the ordinary, why don't you give this one a chance? As always, you can contact me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys. That's where we can discuss my best price available on this guitar, as well as answer any questions you may have. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.